Hi, you guys, and welcome back to Jewell's Gems. Today's topic is actually going to be discussing Tessica Brown and Divine Order. And I'm sure a lot of you are probably trying to figure out, how does Tessica Brown have anything to do with Divine Order? And that is the reason for this video. So before I jump into that, I just want to let you all know just some background in regards to my spiritual journey, and just to bring some type of clarity. And if it doesn't resonate with you, it is okay. There is no offense taken, and it is okay to watch the other videos. Okay. So one of the things that I want to share with you all is that I'm not a religious person. I've actually never been a religious person. I've never been someone who connects with the ideologies of religion. It does not mean that I don't take bits and pieces and connect to those things. But it means that for me, I cannot, and I've never been able to subscribe to a specific religion. What I have always been able to do and feel is subscribe to a spiritual connection. I can go in depth as it relates to my spiritual journey and my spiritual awakening on another video, so I don't want to really get too deep in it. But I'm going to touch some surfaces as it relates to divine intervention, divine order. Okay. So for me, as it relates to my relationship with God, my relationship with my angels, my guides, the universe, to me, they all work in conjunction. When people say the universe, God has a team that I believe, right? God seeks out spirit, he speaks out angels, and they all work in conjunction with one another. And a way to define that team, if you will, is how I identify it, is the universe. So you will hear me say the universe, and when I say the universe, I'm talking about the total conglomerate, right? Because one can't work without the other. It is a team, it is a partnership. So as it relates to Tessica Brown, who is better known as Gorilla Glue Girl, I really don't like that terminology or that term specifically, because Tessica Brown, I'm sure, is not what I'm sure of. I know is so much more than this small infraction that the world has become to know her as. So I will be respectful, as I was in the previous video, to call her by her name. Okay. So Tessica Brown used the Gorilla Glue as a alternative to Got2b Glue hairspray to sleek her hair down. Okay. As we all know, that did not work in her favor. And so because she used the Gorilla Glue, she haphazardly did not have the forethought to understand, to even think that using that type of glue on her hair would create a negative impact on her. Okay. So with that said, she made a video, as we all know, and without the outpouring of concern, and I want to say, because I didn't make mention of this in the previous video, I truly appreciate the way that the community, especially those of us who are into, we respect the modern technology, but we also respect holistic alternatives, and us really going out to her and reaching out to her of using coconut oil, tea tree oil, like any type of any of these type of natural substances to help her break down this arts and crafts spray on her hair. Unfortunately, none of those worked because it required some additional methodical chemicals to help break down that. And there was a doctor in Beverly Hills. His name is Dr. Michael Obeng. And if I've mispronounced your last name, please forgive me. That is definitely not my intentions. But he is a black doctor, a black cosmetic doctor who actually majored or specialized in chemistry. And so he was actually able to create some type of mixture and substance that would actually break down the chemicals of the Gorilla Glue, which ultimately helped save her hair. So in conjunction to that, Dr. Obeng and Tessica Brown had some type of agreement to do for him to perform a mommy makeover, if you will. So with that said, Dr. Obeng, who I'm going to call him an angel. Now, because there's going to be some people who review this video, they may know some additional caveats and details to Dr. Obeng's personality and personal information. That's fine. We are all flawed human beings. No one is perfect. So I'm not going to take away the act of him being a very dynamic individual. Okay? This is not about that. And I think that in regards to the conversation that we're having here, if anyone mentions anything outside of what this topic is not adding value, right, to this discussion. Is actually on a very low vibrational energy. This is him as a doctor and his relationship with Tessica Brown. Okay. And when I say relationship, I mean doctor to patient relationship. This is not to say they have a relationship, because unfortunately we live in a fucking world of semantics and people just reading way more deeper into something than what it has to be. So I want to clear that up. He had the background in chemistry, which is extremely important as it relates to, and one of the things that he did say in an interview, and I want to make this very clear, even though things may seem like they cannot be undone, they actually can be. You just have to have the wherewithal. Dr. Obeng had the wherewithal. So as someone of the Black community, it brought me so much I'm trying to find the word, pride, that someone else within the Black community has the wherewithal and the expertise as it relates to chemicals and how to break the bonding down of Gorilla Glue to help another Black person. It is not lost on me. And I know that some of my videos may come across as like, this Black versus white, and it's not that. It's unfortunately the way that society has upheld white people to be the definition, to be the baseline, if you will, of everything, that we as a society has said, no, we are actually that bitch, right? Respectfully. I'm doing this video full of pride as it relates to both Tessica Brown and Dr. Michael Obeng, because they it's a story that we all need, especially when we're talking about divine order and divine timing. Okay. He was also going to perform this cosmetic elective surgery for Tessica Brown, which is a mommy makeover. However, with that said, Dr. Obeng, while performing the consultation with Tessica Brown, he identified there being lumps in her breasts. The lumps in her breasts have the potential of being cancerous. It immediately made me identify that a quote that my daddy always says to me. He always said it to me. And the quote is, everything happens for a reason. Even though it makes sense, right? There's still some bits and parts of me that as I was growing up that I never was able to fully connect with that, especially when it comes to when it is tied to something bad. Okay. So in my spiritual awakening, my spiritual journey, I have come to this understanding, if you will. And it also ties into a biblical scripture. But there is this quote that, and we know that all things work for the good of those. Okay. Oftentimes we assume subconsciously that all things mean good things, right? No. It is a combination of both good, bad, and indifferent. Tessica Brown is a physical manifestation of all things work for the good of those. And Tessica Brown is not the definition. It is not just her where this all works out. We are all manifestations of that scripture. All things work for the good of those. Had Tessica Brown not haphazardly used that Gorilla Glue as an alternative to her Gots to Be glue to slick her hair down, there is no telling when she would go to her next physical that she could eventually have had cancer that would have took a toll on her life, right? Okay. The fact that she used the Gorilla Glue, I know this may go over some people's head, and it's okay. It's not meant for you to get it at this moment. But as you continue on your spiritual journey and you may come back to this, it may hit you differently. That is okay. But the fact that Tessica Brown used the Gorilla Glue, something that no one would ever recommend. She made a video, right? She made it public. It went viral, if you will. It not only went viral, but it went to and it caught the eye and attention of Dr. Michael Obeng. Not only did he create the compound to break down the chemicals of the Gorilla Glue to help save her hair, but he also was going to be the cosmetic surgeon that performed this mommy makeover. And he was also the same one to, within the consultation, identify these lumps in her breast, right? Essentially saving her life. Okay. So the reason I say all this to say, as it relates to divine order, divine intervention, if you don't take anything else away from this discussion, is that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, even if the shit does not make sense to you. One of the things, and again, this may go over completely over your head, and that is fine. If it does not resonate, it's okay. Our souls build this contract, if you will. It's called a soul contract, We create this soul contract of the different lessons that we want to learn, our soul wants to learn, because again, we are souls having a human experience. Okay. So our souls sign off, right, of the things that we want to learn and experience in our in this human life, if you will. So, with that said, because our souls sign up for this contract, we have to know and believe inherently that, again, everything happens in divine order. Everything that happens to you happens through you. You, on a soul level, sign up for this. So when you say, why me? You always hear this saying, why not me? It is meant for you to go through that experience and grow through that experience, no matter how hellish that experience is. And I know that some of us have gone through a hell of a lot more than what other people have gone through. And it is because your soul has actually graduated, and it's reached this next level, if you will, in the soul's journey. Okay. It's another reason why we say, when we say, especially for those of us who have loved ones who have transitioned over, and we still feel their energy, we still feel their soul, that is because inherently their soul has never died. Their body may not physically be here, but their soul is still here. That is because their soul is ever evolving. Not only are we learning lessons here in this human form, but our souls continue on in this journey as we transition. We are always learning. We are always evolving. So as it relates to Tessica Brown and divine order, if you don't take anything else away from this discussion, it is that anything that you're going through, it is on purpose. Not only is it on purpose, it is to teach you, right? And not only is it to teach you, but it's also for you to share your story, your experience with other people, so that it will help them in their journey. You know, when people say, if only I help just one person, sometimes it only is that, just one person. And this kind of also ties into our purpose. A lot of people make this whole, and this is not to take away from the magnitude of how others feel their purpose is to be. But anytime we're born here with a purpose. And it is not to be confused that our purpose has to be this magnificent, grandioso experience. No. Our purpose sometimes is just to be kind and nice to other people, so that they can then pass that energy forward. Most of us is not going to be the Oprahs. We're not going to be the Jay-Z's, the Bill Gates. We're not going to be the Steve Jobs, or we're just not, right? And it's okay that we're not. I know that there was this book called The Purpose Driven Life, and I've not read the book, but I have done some research in regards to the book. That book is profound in and of itself. However, I think that people took from that book that their purpose was supposed to be on this very magnifying level. And I want to be the first. No, I'm sure I'm not the first, but I want to actually, for you to hear it from my mouth, is that no, your purpose does not have to be as magnified as other people's purpose is. I think that as we continue to journey on with our life, that if we just keep with the basic principle of life, and that is treat others how you want to be treated, then your purpose is continuously being fulfilled and continuously being looked from God source as a positive. So again, to tie divine order, divine timing with Tessica Brown, because to me it is divine order that has brought Tessica Brown to Dr. Michael Obing's level of expertise, right? And guidance and assistance, right? That we also understand how other people have been guided and into our lives, right? For one reason or another. Someone I know that I went to high school with made this video, or made this post, I should say. And she was younger. She was riding with a woman who was extremely religious. And she missed an exit on their journey somewhere. And she thanked God. I do that. And I've been doing that actually for the past, I don't know how many years. I'm someone who is a stickler for time, or grew up to being a stickler for time and being on time, right? But the way that I understand life, the way that I understand how fragile life is that sometimes divine timing is on time, even though that divine timing may not be on human time. So if I'm late for something, I'm not fucked up about it. I'm not losing my brain. Like I'm not going to lose myself because I'm not on time for something. I wasn't on time because I was not meant to be on time. And that is the takeaway. Everything happens for a reason, even if we don't understand it, we can't conceptualize it, and it will not make sense to us at that moment. Eventually, or maybe never, it may not make sense to you. But on the grander scale of things, it is divinely ordered. It is divinely orchestrated by God, by your angels, and by your spirit guides, and what I lovingly call the universe.